Hey everybody. So if you're watching this and I'm in my car, which is really weird because I usually am not in my car, but then I am, then again, but anyway, I'm sitting in traffic right now on the 405 heading to CAMS, and yeah, it's the usual 405 south, I can't move worth a crap kind of traffic. And so just heading to Taste of CAMS tonight. So I will be, as soon as things get a little calmer, I'll post some live of what's going on at my school, and just all the cool stuff. So Taste of CAMS is something that I've seen happening over the last few years. It's a event that I think it's a fundraiser, but anyway, so a bunch of clubs and various groups are performing and having booths and things like that. And so I figured, I would go. So the story goes is that there was originally to do with trying to get like a class reunion or something going, and it was a paid event and all this stuff. And there wasn't enough buy-in for it, so I ended up getting my money refunded. But at the same time, I was able to get a parking pass. So I figured, what the hell, I'm gonna go. Now the event starts at 5:30. It's 5:30 now. I'm still on the freeway, so this ain't happening. But to mind you too is that I just came all the way from Fullerton. So yeah, I left Fullerton at 4, got back to my house in Lawndale about 4:45, and now it's about 5:30. So yeah, that's about the typical freeway traffic there. Yeah, it's going to be it should be a fun time. I'm only expecting to be there probably about, I would say about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I actually have a little bit of a surprise, and I'm just going to put it out there here on the Facebooks. But I dug through a lot of some of my memorabilia, and one of the things that I take pride in is that for my graduating class, I kind of became an unofficial historian. And when it doesn't help that your roommate happens to be the former yearbook editor from your graduating class. And so there's a lot between her and I. We have, or her and me, we have quite a few remnants from CAMS. And so some of the things that I collected and saved happen to be things like all of the newspaper issues that came out during our entire senior year. I have proofs of the old videos. I have the original VHSs. There's a lot of stuff that I was able to share and make photocopies of and send out when I was still living in Ohio, and the class of 2002 still had their own their 10-year reunion, and I wasn't able to go because I was out of state. So this time I'm I'm finally being able to do this right, and now that I am in California, and hopefully for a very long time, I can come back and enjoy. Now the funny part is, even though it's been 15 years since I graduated, I know people who either have kids at CAMS or are students at CAMS right now, and so I'm going to find that interesting and fun. And if the performances are starting at 5:30, sorry, I'm going to miss them, but hopefully I'll be able to bump into you when I get there. And so while that's all going on, and I'm sitting here on the freeway, if you're a CAMS alumni and you're in the area somewhere, come on down. You can park in the parking lot 4 and just walk over. I will say though, because I have been to CAMS as of late, and because I was also filming some basketball games at Dominguez Hills in the gym, that they finally made the place look like a damn high school. It has gates now. They lock gates now. It's not an open campus like that you could walk on randomly like you used to. They really started closing it in. So that's kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, though, when you find that it's basically a high school in the middle of a college campus, it's still unique in that sense. And we're still highly ranked nationally. So I really can't argue with that. So, but yeah, if you're a CAMS alumni, right? If you're a CAMS alumni, and you have any fun memories of things that go on. I mean, I often talk about when I muse about the time that I was at CAMS. I often talk about the times that I got in trouble, which were specifically my junior and senior year, and that was easily the time that I was causing probably having the most issues, either potential or actual physical altercations with other students, or trespassing, or staying up all night to finish something, or going overboard on a project because I can, and it just got a little, it's been ridiculous. I've had some fun times out there. Now I figure that after we graduated, because it was often said that once the class of 2002 graduated, there were a lot of things that were clamped down, and a lot of things that students were no longer allowed to do, and to also note that the student union that we all had our lunches and we hung out in and studied in burned down in 2003, 2004. I think there was a major fire. So after that fire happened, the entire student union had to be rebuilt, and then later in the several years later, the additional wing, another building to the CAMS structures was built, and that also included the cafeteria. So now the building has a cafeteria, so students now have to eat lunch like real high school students. They didn't get the same luxuries that we used to have when we were there. I mean, some of the things that I miss vividly, and there was this place in the University Student Union that had this amazing baked rotisserie chicken, and these mashed potatoes that were just I haven't had mashed potatoes that good. Well, until I was in Ohio and someone else cooked them very nicely. But I will say that it was a really good filling meal back in the day when I had to spend, after hours on campus to escape the world known as my house. So, that was some good times. There was a lot of good food. I mean, I gotta try a lot of things when I was out there, and there was a freedom that we had that these students who are in this in a far more structured environment don't have anymore. But I think that after a while, you could only get away with so much, and it's unfortunate, but that's just where we are. So in the entire time that I've been talking, I have only moved probably half a mile. It is crawling, as 405 normally is. I probably should have gotten off at Normandy, but I missed the exit because I don't know what I was doing. But here we are. So anyway, that's just my quick musing right now. I think it's probably going to be about another 10 to 15 minutes until I get to my destination, to Cal State Dominguez Hills. I was hoping that I was going to have another fellow alumni join me tonight, but unfortunately, it's something called overtime and no choice, and can't get out of it. So I'm stuck there, just timing was off for that and all that fun stuff. So I'll be broadcasting again once I get to campus and doing some fun stuff. And although, you know what, since we're sitting here, maybe I might be able to show you guys a little preview of the little thing that I wanted to give to the robotics team. Well, not give to them. I'm not really in the... I think I'm going to continue to keep it, but to show them because, it's funny. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, let's see. So one of the things that I dug out of my archives was a T-shirt, and the T-shirt I dug out right there. Yeah, this is the original CAMS Robotics T-shirt from the very first team. This is the one I designed when I was still on the team as the inventory manager and the pin designer and all that stuff. And what's so special about it is, first off, this shirt has never been worn. I had a spare shirt that I had on me, and what I did was I brought it with me to our first competition at the LA Sports Arena when it was still standing back in March 2001. It was the very first regional that we had participated in, and it gave us a chance to battle against other high schools in our area and also some from out of state. It was our very, very first competition, and these were the shirts that we wore. And one of the things that I did was I asked everyone, I pulled out a green Sharpie, and I asked the entire team to sign it. So this shirt was signed by almost every single member of the competing team that went to the regional competition at the LA Sports Arena in March of 2001. I have had this shirt in storage for 15 years. One of the things that I had been contemplating doing for many years was to celebrate, because the fact that FRC, which it was used to be First Robotics, but now the name was changed to FRC, which stands for First Robotics Competition. Since the name has changed and everything, it's still the same competition, but the fact that the CAMS team is still there and is still standing and still doing its thing, I wanted to find a way to frame this shirt and donate it, or at least gift it to the current to the school as kind of a thing. So we'll see what I can do with it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It would be awfully nice to think of it that way. I've met a few people who have from the robotics team, and I've had some Facebook chats because they were asking about some history stuff, and for some reason my name came up because apparently I know things, but we won't tell anyone that. And but yeah, it's the robotics originally. I mean, it was very ironic for high school, because the two students who brought First Robotics to the spotlight and got CAMS on board were both in the class of 2003, and I have to give them credit for this. And you'd think, for a math and science high school, that we would have jumped on this like nobody's business. But considering that we are a team, because they gave us numbers based on when we joined, we're team number 687. It's not too shabby, because that means that we have been a competitor in the First Robotics program for over 15 years. So I mean, three-digit robotics teams are definitely something that to be respected. And nowadays, when I talk to some robotics teams, one of my favorite ones, and I'm just going to share this because I just happen to have this in my car, but if you know Peninsula High School in Palos Verdes, they are team number 2637. So if it puts in perspective how long it's been since CAMS has had their robotics team in comparison to Peninsula High School, and you think that they had more funding, but yeah, and of course in tradition I have the button from the Phantom Cats of Team FRC Team 2637, Peninsula High School. Yeah. It's definitely a very humbling thing when you realize that we may have not been the first, but we were definitely one of the earliest, and that was really, really cool. There's quite a few high schools that have first now, but yeah, I have to thank those two students from the class of 2003 for bringing this to the spotlight and saying, CAMS needs a robotics team, because seriously, we're a math and science high school. Are you high? Why don't we have one? And that was really a big deal. So yeah, I'm Muse. So I'm currently on the 405. Right? I mean, I just got off the 405. I'm now finally made it to Avalon. Thank goodness. So I'm almost there. So I'm going to sign off right now. That's my side note. And if I get some reactions to the shirt and stuff like that, I'll definitely post them, and just go from there. But I have some, like I said, high school for me was a special time because it helped me escape a lot of the sadness that I dealt with when I was at home, and it allowed me to at least be a person. And so I'm very grateful for at least having that, and that's the reason why it's very exciting when I hear that I can actually go to a CAMS event. Yes, I know. It's like it's been a long 15 years for me personally, but there were many people and many things that happened when I was on that campus that were let's just say they kind of saved my life in many ways. So, all right, ta-ta for now. I will be back on live as soon as I get onto campus. So I'll see you in a bit.